This is John Walton, and you're listening to the Power Play Point podcast with the Blue Liner on Point and Anna Knox. Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And a hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome, everybody, Caps fans, to the Power Play Point podcast. This is your host, the Blue Liner on Point, talking at you live to tape from a gloomy day here in the DMV. Me in the Glen Burnie area. My host, the Mermaid, Anna Knox from Centerville, Virginia.
Yeah, happy gloomy Sunday is right.
Happy dreary Sunday, in more ways than one. Yeah, it is indeed the end. Well, it was going to be one way or the other, but not the end we were looking for, unfortunately.
No. Womp
No.
womp.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the games yesterday?
I did. I saw all three.
Nice.
And I got to say, I was kind of disappointed because none of them, I don't know. They didn't. None of them really screamed playoff hockey to me. The last game, the Pittsburgh game, was a snore fest for most of it.
Right.
The middle game was a slaughter.
Yeah, I heard.
Middle of the game, it was like 4-0 or something. First game was okay. Senators and Hurricanes, I get that was the best one, but it was.
I feel bad
I
for
don't
the
know.
Senator fans because everything is about either people loving or hating Chuck. Like there isn't any other players. But I'm reading threads that are like, oh my God, they are from Ottawa, but they're pulling for the Canes because they hate him so much. Like, oh. But you know what he is? He's a complete arrogant asshole. And I'm glad some players are coming in and Stahl yesterday and, go and not taking it lightly. Like they're fighting and he's just a jerk. So, but I can't pull for the Canes. So like, that's like the one I'm like, ugh. So whatever. But no, I didn't watch any of it. I was enjoying other festivities yesterday and not paying attention to where our team should have been, but they're not.
Okay, so I got to ask, what were you enjoying yesterday, if not hockey?
Well, there is a very fabulous brewery in Chantilly. It's called Ono, and the couple that owns it are lovely, and they're from here, and then they lived in Hawaii for like the longest time, and they came back, and so everything is Hawaiian themed, and they have amazing barbecue. And I will say I had two, and it's a pour your own beer, but they also have wine and other stuff, but the pour your own. And my choice yesterday was just for giggles called the banana hammock. Yeah.
Oh no. I
Oh, no.
would say I would say oh yes to a lot of things if I were at oh no, but
Yeah, I mean, like at first I was like, oh, look, they have one called Flip Flop, and that looks at, I'm like, of course, like I'm looking at the names and being like, that's adorable, and then I look and it's, like a heavy, stout, and I'm like, no, it's gorgeous out. Like I just want just like a light beer. So banana hammock was light and delicious, and it's weird to say those things in one sentence.
so
But yeah.
so the banana hammock wasn't quite packing, shall we say?
Right.
Since it was
Not packing an IPA. But I did like have some guy pour next to me, and he kind of looked over and kind of like gave a weird look. I'm like, it's a really good beer. I'm not drinking it because of the name, and he's having something I don't even know. some other stupid thing, and I was like, all right, just go away. You're probably a Canes fan or an Ottawa fan. Get out of my face.
Poor guy.
Yeah. I definitely gave him that. No, look, it's like, Brent, I don't just have a conversation. I'm pouring a beer. It's called Banana Hammock, and it's delicious. So go away.
That actually sounds like a good time.
It's
So what
very cool.
as long as we're talking local breweries, let me give one that I'm close to a shout. Of course, I was at 2 years ago. I was at Firm over in Gambrels
Hmm.
for the Lachlan Family Foundation event,
Oh,
and
right.
they rocked the house. But
Hmm.
want to give a shout to another one in Odenton, also in my home county, Anne Arundel, Maryland. The Crooked Crab, where
Oh, that's a cool name.
they generously supply a lot of places, including one I go to with a lot of outputs. I shall call them, including one called the Life of a Show Crab. If I've got that right, you know what? I've still got it. Hang on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. So I did get the title of it right, or the name of it right, The Life of a Show Crab. And
I'm
I
looking
will
at their site right now, and because I was gonna say, I bet you they have really cool merch, and I love the design.
They do. They do. They have
That's
a
really
lot of
cool.
it's a lot of anime based or comic based designs. Yeah, and it's obviously, since it's Maryland, crab name based. No, they don't taste like crabs in Old Bay and things like that. This one in particular, The Life of a Show Crab. It is. I'm not quite sure. It's a goes. It's called. They call it an imperial sour, and it's tart
Hmm.
and fruity by nature. And yeah, some of you out there listening may not be able to wrap your head around a tart and fruity beer, but that's the kind I like, especially gozes that are based like that. But I haven't tried it yet. But I do
That's a
plan.
high ABV. Look at
It
you.
does. It does. Yeah, 7.5. So I
Oh.
think I will wait till after we're done recording to give it a go, because
I
I
think
didn't plan.
I would do Highway to the Flavor Zone just because I like that name.
I that one I got to check out. They also have such ones. There's one they got called Pillsbo Baggins.
Nice.
Um,
But I
yeah,
will I couldn't do that because
which obviously is a pilsner.
I know, but the
So,
Bo Baggins. Mm.
and they have one I'm dying to try called a Pizza Shark, which supposedly
Hmm.
goes great with pizza. Speaking of which, if you go to the brewery, in the physical brewery location in Odenton, Maryland, just off Telegraph Road, Route 170 in the heart of Anne Arundel County, they serve some pretty damn good pizza, if I do say so.
Yeah.
So you can get yourself some pizza while you're trying some brews there. And yeah, I highly recommend that place as well. So yeah, a good way to drown all of our sorrows for our non-playoff hockey team.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. But I will say that the people, with the person I was with, we toasted the amazing delivery I received this week from the Haymarket Iceplex, um,
Ah, yes.
from the Hockey Fights Cancer. For those of
Uh,
you, well, you go ahead
mhm.
and tell them.
Well, okay. So if you did not have the pleasure of catching the end of the Caps Talk segment, the first segment last week of the Sports on the Hill podcast, let me give you the story. So we mentioned a few weeks ago that, well, we had Al Given, Kara Given's husband, from both from the Haymarket Iceplex out in Haymarket, Virginia, doing a charity event, a raffle for Hockey Fights Cancer, all to benefit the Hockey Fights Cancer, and they had a bunch of cool prizes. So we had Al on to talk about that. Yours truly spent about $100 worth in tickets. And amazingly enough, one of them was a winner. Amazingly enough. So I got, and just before, literally minutes before we went on Sports on the Hill, Kara sent me a DM over Facebook Messenger, said, Gil, you won. You can have your choice. Oh, she sent me an email too. You have your choice of 2 prizes. One of them was the Jason Robertson signed jersey, Dallas Stars jersey, and the other was a signed stick signed by, yes, number 43, alternate captain Tom Wilson.
Yes.
Guess which one I chose to get? You can guess.
Yes.
But the plot thickens. That doesn't stop there. Oh no, because I happen to make a promise to a certain co-host that if my ticket, any of my tickets were a winner, and I happen to land that prize, guess who would have it in her hot little hands? And that is where the story ends.
It's so incredible, Gal. It really is. And so as the story continues, my coworker how I found out about the event for the second year in a row, went to practice on Wednesday nights out in Haymarket, and Kara gave him the stick, and I honestly was just thinking it was gonna just, like it was just gonna come just the stick, like no, you know, not that it's not a big deal. It is. It's a huge deal to me. But I was like, oh, it's it's just a hockey stick, right? No, it came in like how the Capitals send their merchandise, and it was like bubble wrapped, and then in a large Capitals white like wrapping. And then it was shipped from, just out, and they're out in Arlington or whatever. And then so when Mike walked in, I was like, holy shit, like this is huge. So I opened it because I have some students that were like just in complete awe of this. And they're like, can we play with it? No. 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 Mm-mm. You can look at it from afar. I'm like, come on now. Can you play with it? And yeah, so it has, his little Tommy signature up there and in the corner, and yeah, so it like absolutely so amazed. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet, but I have some ideas. So, and of course the kids are like, why don't you just keep it like mounted above your desk? I'm like, God, you guys just don't get it.
Because I know better. That's
No, it's like,
why.
why would I have a hockey stick in my classroom with you guys who, no, no. So yeah, so that's my week. So I have it here, and everyone who hears the story is like, oh my God, that's amazing that he'd do that. I said, I know it is. I know it's incredible. So I put something in the mail for you. And at first I was going to joke about it being like when we used to joke about me sending you stuff and it would be me jumping out of a cake. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Because I don't have time to do that. And then I thought, you know what? I have something here, and I think it's something you don't have. At least I hope so. Because the other thing you did have, and Ginny told me, and I was like, God damn it. So I was hoping it would be there and you could open it on the show, but I guess it hasn't arrived unless it's in your mailbox now. I don't know when your mail comes. So
No,
maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, I checked it. I checked it this morning, and it being Sunday, we're not getting a mail today. So yeah, so it hopefully it'll arrive sometime tomorrow.
See, we do get mail sometimes on Sunday. Really weird.
We don't. I don't know why.
Like some days, and then I don't know. Maybe I don't know why. I could have sworn I've seen our little guy out there who's not. He's like our super mean mailman. I know we've talked about him before, but he's like probably cursing up the street as he's handing out everyone's mail if it is a Sunday. So
probably.
Yeah. But anyways, so how is your Sunday?
Well, I mean, I'm wrapping things up. I'm still a little bummed about how things turned out, but optimistic, and we'll talk about that a bit towards the end here. And it's a little peek behind the curtain. It's a little after 1 p.m. Sunday the 19th. So waiting
Mhm.
for some playoff hockey to begin. Yeah, I'll be watching it because it's gotten to be habit. I've been doing it for you know a long time now. So
Mhm.
no matter what, it's on. I'm going to watch it. Scout the competition, as it were. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's my Sunday, and yeah, probably I probably shouldn't, but thankfully, tomorrow is a professional day, so hopefully not at our school, so hopefully not as stressful. So I might be able to get away with. Yeah, if I enjoy my maybe one imperial sour and that's it.
Nice.
So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Oh well.
Okay.
Now,
So yes.
time for hockey.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've stalled long enough. We've avoided the inevitable. God, it's been a while, but we actually found out the Caps' fate Monday night, and again, it was on Sports on the Hill live. Uh, the last Monday night, the Hurricanes played the Flyers, who were in their next to last game, and of course, the Flyers could only earn 1 point in their last two games for the Caps to make the playoffs. And well, it came down to a shootout. And yeah, even when it's other teams playing, yeah, Caps just have zero luck with the shootout, which is one of about a gajillion reasons why I hate it.
Mhm.
But yeah, Flyers won the shootout, and Caps were eliminated before they could even have a say in their last two games. But speaking of which, hey, uh, acquitted themselves pretty well, 2-0 in their last two games.
Yeah.
So, including one that at the time they had to have against Pittsburgh, the home finale. Much made of this for obvious reasons, or I wasn't gonna do it, but what the hey, I'll throw it out for obvious reasons. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
went there.
You would, yeah, I always go there. Yeah. Um, but yeah, they had to have the win to stay alive. This was last Sunday, and it was smack in the middle of the day. So yeah, couldn't cover it. So we're covering it now. Here is the scoring summary. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, 12:22, opens the scoring for the Caps at 12:22 of the second period. Kind of a slow, touchy-feely. I don't know how we're going to do this. I think both teams were confused as to how to play this game. At
Yeah.
least that's how it looked in the first period to me. So no goals, and then Trevor Van Riemsdyk um, pots his third of the year. Pierre-Luc Dubois and Connor McMichael, the helpers, again at 12:22 of the second. That would be the only goal, and then Caps would pop in 2:15:50 of the third. Connor McMichael, his 13th. Ryan Leonard, the main helper on that one. Martin Fedavati, the helper on that one as well. Secondary 15:50 third. And then McMichael again, the empty netter. Ovechkin, his final point of the season, as a spoiler alert, with the primary assist, and Feravari again, second point of the night. So McMichael 2 points on the night. Feravari 2 as well. And that's how that would close. Caps win 3-0. I'm not going to say the Penguins' hearts weren't in it, but
Mm.
this game they did not decide to sit all of their good players. Sidney Crosby did play. So did Evgeny Malkin. So did Chris Letang. So did Brian Rust. Um, so Yeah, they did what they could, but I think towards the middle of the third period is kind of obvious. They were like, all right, let's just get out of here and hope nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 2 points they had to have. Great little. Everybody's seen it by now. Great little thing at the pregame with Crosby and Ovi, and then of course at the opening faceoff, Dylan Strome gets himself kicked out, so Ovi has to take the faceoff against Sid Crosby. Nice little moment there. All kinds of respect, and then of course at the end, the Penguins all line up to shake his hand and show their respect, and Ovi waves them off, and you know,
Mhm.
we're not going to waste a whole lot of time talking about will he or won't he here. We just, frankly, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough information. That's for literally the rest of the summer to figure that out. There'll be plenty of
Mhm.
time for
Yeah.
that. So, but make of that what you will. But yeah, great way. Always a great thing to beat the Penguins, but great way to end the home season. So again, Caps getting a much needed 2 points. So on to the curtain dropper in Columbus, Nationwide Arena. Um, this one again, no scoring in the first. Boone Jenner opens it at 27 seconds. Hopefully for the last time for a long time. I get to complain about this, but first minute goal given up by the Caps in a period again. Never like seeing it, but just too many of these this year. Just one of about 100 habits. I hope they really cut down on next year
Mhm.
somehow. Boone Jenner his 13th. Marchment and Heinen the helpers on that one. 27 seconds into the second, and then about 10 minutes later, Anthony Beauvillier on wow, a great stretch pass from Trevor Van Riemsdyk. I can't believe I'm saying it.
Mhm.
At 10:46 to tie the game. Um, and then Jacob Chikrin on the power play on the third, 15:53, blasts it with the help of Tom Wilson
Mhm.
and Alex Ovechkin, so he was credited with a helper on that one. So that, well, may or may not be again his last point ever. We don't know. We're not going to guess at this point, but finally the power play didn't, well, completely crap the bed. 1 for 3 in this one. Um, and in fact, the Caps played so well, but the Blue Jackets didn't play as well, and so much so that their coach ripped them a new one uh,
Yeah.
after the game. I don't know if you saw that
I
um,
didn't.
or heard of that, but yeah, he was none too happy with his team after, pointing to only 3 hits in the game and 23 giveaways. Which, yeah, pile of caca. Yes, they were eliminated also by here, but by this time, but yeah, not a good look for them because they looked like they were going to run away with third place or at least a wild card, and then
Mhm.
like 7 or 8 games left, they hit a wall and just never recovered.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, gonna be interesting to see what they do next year. But that brings the curtain down on yet another 82 games for our Washington Capitals. So the final standings count for them. So if we can look that up. Oh, the app is focused on the playoffs. Big surprise. Um, okay, so the Capitals end up fourth place in the Metropolitan Division, 3 points behind the guaranteed third spot, which, as we said, eventually captured by the Flyers. 43 wins, 30 losses, 9 overtime losses, and 30, I think it was 37 regulation wins that
Mm.
they ended up getting. Um,
Not much to say. I mean,
I mean, 95 points. I mean, once upon a time, that was enough to
Yeah.
get you a playoff spot, and
Yeah.
now it's not. And it sucks. It gives me the red ass because all you got to do is you look at the two teams ahead of them, and I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Both things are correct. Yeah, the Caps blew away points that they should have had, but the two teams ahead of them also backed into the playoffs
Hmm.
by I think purposely taking the games into overtime to get them and hanging on just enough to get that loser point.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I heard Carberry, being interviewed, and he had said it, January was rough. Um, and, it wasn't just one game or whatever, but we also had a good, I don't know, several episodes, I want to say, where we at nauseum mentioned them not showing up, and not playing 60 minutes. And yes, of course, out of 82 games, that that's not always going to happen. But I feel like it was still between that and the power play are the two things that they have got to work on in the off season.
oh, easily.
I mean, there's just, I mean, we've talked about it so much that it's like, well, here's what it comes down to. I really feel like because of how they played last year when they just were like, oh, all of a sudden coming into, the very last period and all of a sudden showing up and winning, that they thought that would carry over. And I think that's where, karma kind of bit them in the ass this season because it didn't pan out the way they thought it would. And this is what happens. We're just a couple points shy of being in the playoffs right now. So something to think about.
Yeah, I I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to say this was a success. It because it didn't feel like the team went forward. It felt like the team went backward in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And it's really hard to swallow, given that to me this was largely the same team as last year that ran away and won the East. Now, okay, the argument has been made, and I'm not sure I 100% buy it. In fact, I don't 100% buy it, that last year was an overachieving year. I don't know that I buy that. I think a lot of players played up to their potential last year.
Hmm.
Um, and you could look at their stat sheets this year and say, yes, they took a step back, but I can't see I can't see last year as an overachievement. I think this year, you know, players lost their footing. The schedule didn't help. I
Hmm.
sound like I'm making
Injuries.
excuses. Injuries didn't help. The big one, of
Hmm.
course, being Pierre-Luc Dubois missing,
Hmm.
what was it, three quarters of the season
Hmm.
with that horrible abdominal tear.
Yeah, that was gross.
And Ryan Leonard missed a good chunk of the season when he got clonked in the head by Jacob Trouba.
Hmm.
And then there
Oh,
were also
yeah.
so many guys that got nicked up. Tom Wilson missed 3-4 games because
Hmm.
he got nicked up. Everybody, the injury bug seemed to hit just about everybody except maybe Ovi, and I think um, Connor McMichael got through the whole year. If I'm no, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't either. Um, Ovi was the only one managed to get through the whole year, I think, playing all 82 games. I can't think of anybody else that did.
No, I think you're right. I mean,
Um,
honestly, like I'm looking. Everybody had, yeah, because you had McElrath in there for some. You had, yeah, um, Mirchenko. I like, other when I'm thinking of like, and then yeah, same thing. Well, and then Chucky.
yeah, you had Charlie missing some games. Well,
And then, of course,
unfortunately,
there was the Olympics. So,
yeah, and that didn't help. That was the thing. That was the thing that turned the schedule into one big accordion.
yeah,
Again, not that that's an excuse, but that's one more
factors.
hill. It does. That's one more hill to climb
Yeah.
in something that's already difficult to do.
Mhm.
Um, so it's kind of hard when you look at last year and you look at now. It's just kind of hard to accept things for what they were. But then again, all they had to do was one so many one goal games that could have gone to overtime.
Mhm.
That's at least 1 or 2 points there. Ginny and I talked about the power play um, costing us at a minimum 1 to 3 points.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
So there's the difference right there.
Yep.
And had they just showed up for 1 or 2 more games for a full 60 minutes, stop us if you've heard that before. That right there is the difference. Now, some of you are groaning and going, "Well, it probably would have been a first or second round exit anyway." So it would have, but I feel like this is going to sound like a cop out. I get it, but I feel like Ovechkin deserved one more swing at the playoffs. I feel like I wanted to get the rookies a taste of playoff hockey, and
Mhm.
if you think about it, that last run of 10 games, that was their playoffs, but it's
Yeah.
it's not quite the same, you know?
Right. Well, I think over the summer, it's gonna be Cole Hudson and Ryan Leonard roommates. That'll be good. We'll see how that goes. And everybody else is always, they take their rest and they train and we see all the pictures of it. But at this point, it's like it is what it is. We could again talk about it ad nauseum on the what ifs. But moving forward, I think that people do have a very strong positive opinion about the 26-27 season, re- regardless if Ovechkin is in the lineup or not. I think people feel like other players have definitely stepped up and proved themselves this season and were consistent. And I think that's what the fans have got to focus on at this point.
Yeah, and I will make one final plea to those who are convinced that this is Ovi's last year, or whenever it is that
Hmm.
he hangs them up, who are deciding to leave. Don't, because you're gonna miss out. That if you were, I'll give you an example. If you were hooked when you first saw Ovi take up space from the left circle and crack his shot, crack that one timer in for the goal. Well, now it may no longer be that, but now it's, instead of the crack of the stick on puck, it's a whoosh from Ryan Leonard and his snapshot, his wrist shot
Hmm.
from inside the slot area into the goal.
All right.
It's the same thing, just packaged
Well,
a little differently,
why would
slightly different flavor.
who are these people that are saying they're going to stop if he retires?
I'm not going to say out loud, but
Okay.
I've heard whispers from friends of friends of friends
That's
who
ridiculous. I
who
mean,
are,
my God, like in any sport, your favorite player ages.
yeah.
It happens. It's like, my God, people, will I feel devastated when Tom's in the situation? Of course. Is it going to stop me from being a fan? No.
Yeah,
It's
and I'll
just,
I'll say one more thing. If you do that, then you're nothing more than what the outside critics uh, tend to say about Caps fans, that we're
mhm,
just here for Ovi, which could not be the truth, could not be
right.
further from the truth.
Hmm. No.
You're just playing into that narrative. But hey, whatever. That's what you want to do.
Right.
But I think this team is more than worth what you put into it. They will
Hmm.
be, and better days are yet to come. It's a lot of people are saying that because it's true.
Right.
Um, Now, before we shut it down for the year, before I get into my next segment, I want to take this time to thank everybody, those in the chat room, those in our Facebook page. Um, uh, while I'm doing that, reminder within a reminder, if you're new to the Facebook page, please, for gosh sakes, answer the 3 questions and agree to the group rules, because Facebook is being kind of stingy about catching bot accounts and fake accounts. So if you do that, that tells Facebook you're a real person. So
Hmm.
please do that if you plan on signing on to our Facebook page. We welcome you. We love to have you, but you got to do that, because otherwise you run the risk of getting kicked out and shut down by Facebook. That's
Right.
just want to put that out there. But I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody, especially in the chat room, the Facebook page, everybody that's been on this year. Too many names to mention. I don't want to leave everybody out, or anybody out for that matter. But uh, thank you all who listened to the show, been part of the show, um, whether it's from day one or just recently. Um, Thank all of you so much for helping us along and supporting us. And we're going to keep going on this. We're not done. We're going to keep chugging along on this thing. We'll definitely be back next year to do it. Um, Now that said, this is your last chance. If you're listening right now for this year, this is your last chance to have your say. I know some of you out there can't wait. I've already got several people lined up
Oh,
that
nice.
I'm gonna do a one-on-one with, and you'll hear them over the course of the next week give their autopsy take on what happened this season. So I'm going to be recording that in spots. And if you're listening to this and you wanted to be part of that, well, get a hold of me. Let me know. I'm on Twitter at BLULiner98, at BLULINER98 on Twitter. Message me there. Give you my personal email address, GLHALLOWED at yahoo.com, or join our Facebook group, Power Play Point Podcast, and get a hold of me there. I will work out a time sometime in the coming week, and we can talk, give your take. But yeah, I've got several people lined up. We're going to do that. So that's going to be a special episode. If anything big happens, I'm sure you'll either hear me from here or on one of our many different brother sister Caps podcasts. I'll name them all right now. The official Caps Chirp podcast, hosted by the Hockey Troll, my buddy Jeremy over there. Of course, Janaea Talks Caps, Janaea Bennett. I'm sure she'll have shows continuing. Of course, our friend Robbie Gross plans on keeping things going at least through the next few weeks as the playoffs continue. The Stanley Cup playoffs, that is. So definitely going to catch me there. The Sacroom's Capitals Off Their Chain podcast, catch myself in a cameo role and C4 Shellane Forster there. Especially as we get closer to the draft, there'll be a discussion there. And Dan Holme, Locked On Capitals, who has shows every day that talk about different issues that hit the team. So a lot of good shows that are going to continue on to some extent through the summer that will be covering the Caps. So might find me on one or more of those, but I suggest you pop in and give those a listen all through the year if you want to keep up on our Caps.
Definitely.
And I'm going to offer a bit of a preview for next year. I really, really, really want to get more people on. Kind of disappointed that we didn't get as many on this year.
Hmm.
But I really want to get the word out there. And I want you listening right now, if you've never been on, There's no reason to fear us. One of the things I will say to you, and I'll say it now, if you think I'm a moron for the takes I do, if you disagree with me, you can tell me. Just back it up. No, you completely don't agree with me. And living proof is our Facebook chat room. I duke it out with some good friends there all the time whose takes I don't agree with, back and forth all the time. So you know, don't be afraid. We want to hear you. Um, my reveal is well, next year is going to be slightly different. I'm not going to say how just yet, but next year I think we got to put things in a bit of different perspective. Um, I will say this much. Um, do not expect me to hold back. If I have the faintest clue that the direction of the team is not going where it ought to be. And I will leave it at that. But that's you're gonna hear a lot more of that. And at times it might sound harsh, but um, as bright as the future is, we're also at a turning point. We're also at a point with this team where if it all goes horribly wrong, then there's the entire possibility it could get blown up, and I don't think anybody wants to see that.
Right.
So next year is critical, but not from the standpoint you might think it is. And when we get there, when we get to the season opener, I'll explain myself a little bit better. But sorry to be a little vague and cryptic, but it you'll understand when we get there.
I can't think that far in advance, but okay.
um, all right, so I don't think there's much more we can talk about. Off season is probably going to be pretty interesting. I would expect the Caps to make some moves.
Hmm.
I would expect the draft to be something. They've got 2 first-round picks, so that's something to look forward to. Beyond that, of course, Ovi's decision.
Right.
So this off season probably going to be like no other. So keep your eyes on the team, and yeah, come first or second week of October, whenever they have the schedule, look for us because we're definitely going to be back in some form covering the team.
There you go.
So Mermaid, did you have anything else you wanted to add? Anything you wanted to throw out there?
No,
Yeah.
no, just the same old. The listeners and the fans are amazing. It's been a fun ride, lots of laughs. And yeah, you and I, was this 9 years or 10? 9.
I think this is the end of our 9th. So
Going into,
barring barring
oof,
any changes, next year will be the 10th.
okay. Wow. All right.
Yeah, hard to
That's
believe, but yeah,
that's kind of crazy. All right. Well, then that's great. So, thank you, Gil, for another fun season. And well, I'll be in touch with you. So it's not goodbye.
it's not goodbye. It's just see you later
Yeah.
is what it is, as the Stanley Cup Twitter account once told Ovi. So hopefully that'll come true. But yeah, and yeah, I'd be remiss, of course, if I did not take this opportunity to thank you, Anna, for uh, doing all that you do to make this show what it is, and put us on the map in the DMV. And like if it weren't for you, we wouldn't have had that thing at Haymarket. And by the way, I would very much love to get out there next year. I'm sure they're going to do another thing next year, so I'd very much love to get out there and physically be there for that. So that's
Yeah.
that's in the plans. So
Awesome.
So one more thanks to the Haymarket Iceplex for helping make this year awesome. And to you, the listener, you on the other side of the earbuds, the speakers, what have you, however you listen to this, thank you for helping to keep us going wherever you may be. Thank you so much. So we're going to sign off for the final time, unless you're doing a one-on-one with me. But we're going to sign off for the final regular season episode here. For the final time, 2025-26. This is the Blue Liner on Point for Anna Knox, the Mermaid, and all you out there, signing off and reminding you that while washing clothes, I happened to find $100. I thought to myself, well, got to be more careful when I wash clothes. You know why? Money laundering is a very serious crime.
Really had hopes, Gal.
Insert sound of mic drop here.
Yes. Yes.
Hallelujah, and let's go, Caps.
Go Caps!
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point Podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Power Play Point Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Good afternoon to you golf fans. This is Dan Shankett with Benchwarmer Sports, welcoming you once again to beautiful Burn Scrotum Golf Course, where once again we host the Losers Tournament this year for hockey players that failed to make the Stanley Cup playoffs. Our sponsor this year is So Much Better Personal Anti-Itch Ointment. They call it that because when you apply it, that's exactly how you will feel so much better. This year's players are from the Washington Capitals, who missed by a mere 3 points in their own division. How disappointing. So let's go to the middle of the action here. And we have Anthony Beauvillier on 15 with a fairway shot approaching the green. And he addresses the ball. And it is high, but it is not a good line. And unfortunately, that looks like it is going to be way out of bounds. And he might even have to take a penalty for that. Speaking of penalty, this resembles the puck over glass penalty that he committed against the Rangers, which led to that horrific result against them late in the season. So unfortunately, Beauvillier not all that unfamiliar with making crucial mistakes at crucial times, and this would be another one of them. Let's go over to 14, and we have Tom Wilson lining up for tee shot. And he got all of that one, and this one looks straight and true. And true of his usual form, he lands it clean and gets all of it for a pretty long shot down the fairway. And his green approach is going to be very clean. Not surprising that he leads this tournament at 5 under par so far. Over to hole number 4 for Cole Hudson and his putt here. And he's going to attempt to go for a birdie. And let's see what happens. Oh. So, unfortunately, he doesn't get that one. Cole doesn't get a hole in one or a Cole in one, but he has quite the bright future so far, 2 under par in this tournament. And our final golfer, Jake Chikrin, who is on 16, got himself in a bit of trouble. And he's in the sand trap. He's in the trap right now. He's lining up. Good stance. Oh, and that's a good one. Pops onto the green, and he's looking at about a 20-foot putt to save par. And I think it's safe to say he milked that one raw. So, I hope you enjoyed this year's coverage here at the Burn Scrotum Golf Club. And remember, if you want to ditch that itch, go for the feeling of so much better.